Hello again. It's really nice to meet you both. Today I'm going to talk with Pavol Liska and Kelly Copper from the Nature Theatre of Oklahoma about you and your movie, Die Kinder der Toten. And yeah, it's really nice that you're here with me today. And maybe you want to say something for the introduction about you, or just as you like.
I guess the first thing to know about us is that we're primarily our history is in theater. So we've always been big film lovers and actually have been really inspired by a lot of the early 1960s New York cinema and French cinema in our work, but most of our earlier work is theater, and so we've come kind of as amateurs in the biggest sense of the word, which is like lovers of film.
Right. Yeah. Well, to your movie, actually, watching your movie the first time, it was for me so unusual to watch because I haven't seen anything like it in the recent time, and it was weird and tragic and a lot of fun, actually, generally very dense, and a lot to process for the audience also. But that's what our team and I loved about your movie, and it's intelligent and extraordinary, and it's got a fearless approach to quite tragic and political topics. And also, I have to say, I'm a big fan of not overthinking and using humor for, in this quite sometimes very serious medium, film. So that's what I saw in your movie, what we saw in your movie, and that brings me to my first question. You made a movie about a book that was labeled as impossible to adapt for the screen, and as I'm informed, if I'm informed right, you've never completely read it, right?
Yeah, we don't speak German, and the book was only being translated as we were making the film. So we got the first 100 pages of a very rough translation just to get the flavor of it, and the rest of it we had to rely on other people's accounts of the book that they read, which wasn't so strange for us because we have been working a lot with oral before in the theater work, where we would, for instance, ask people to tell us the story of Romeo and Juliet. Archaeology of the brain, of what gets imprinted inside somebody's mind that reads a book or that is existing in the ether or in the zeitgeist, or so we worked with people's ideas of the book, even if they have never read it, people's ideas of what Elfriede Jelinek's work is like, because a lot of Austrians have not read it, or she was kind of the Nestbeschmutzer or something. How is that? What's the saying where you talk critically about your own country? And so people.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a German word.
Sorry.
Nestbeschmutzer? Yeah.
Okay, I don't know that word.
Well, she beschmutzt her own nest, like Thomas Bernhard or Elfriede Jelinek, who talk very critically about the government or the country or the system there. Yeah. And so then we went to the region where she was born and where she grew up, and obviously people know her there and have about what her work is like, even without reading it, and so we also met with her a few times and talked to her, and so the adaptation of the book was a free-flowing process, which she approved of. Sometimes it's kind of an advantage for us to come from a different art form than from film, because if you go to a film school, you are told, oh, you need this, you need this, you need this, whereas we're used to just work with whatever is available. We're not hampered by any limitations. So if we know all the rules of filmmaking, whether it's continuity or whether it's whatever production values, but we're also trying to always ask, what is that essential? And so if we have a scene that calls for 100 extras and only 2 people show up, then we just deal with it, and we adjust to the conditions in which we work. And that's how it was with the book that we couldn't read, and so we adjusted to. The job was to adapt this work, and so we did. We just dealt with what was available to us, which is the 100 pages, and then other people's accounts of it.
Yeah, right. I really enjoy that experimental approach, actually, and that also answered my second question. Well, as you said right now, you combined a lot of different genres and filmed on Super 8 and planned it as a theater performance with amateur actors and accompanied with the extraordinary film music by Wolfgang Mitterer. And with so much, and I love this approach to just put it all together. It was a lot. And so just to ask it a little bit again, so it wasn't planned like this from the beginning, right? It just fell into place step by step.
Yeah, I mean, it came from the initial thing was an invitation to work in the countryside by this theater festival that we've done many performances at over the years. And one of their things is that they have a section that's always occurring in the countryside outside of Graz. And we knew that we wanted to do some kind of work with the people who live there. And what we were looking for, we didn't start from the text of Elfriede Jelinek. We were looking for something that was about the region, made in the region, and and so our mandate was really to work with the people and make something with them, and then the rest of it kind of coalesced around this idea.
Yeah, so it's like almost the cast was first,
mm-hmm.
and then the book, and then the script, and then the people came first. But we did have a very, very detailed script and a screenplay that we worked on for 2 years, and then but that was a literary work. Ultimately we were interested in writing something that was impossible to film. We weren't trying to think practically, because we knew that once we are on the set or on location, that we'll be able to think practically and be creative and inventive there. But as far as the script was concerned, we wanted to create something that was impossible to film, and then give it to these people in the region who were organizing all the shoots, and confront them with a scene that's impossible. If it says, okay, now all the dead, famous dead of Austria rise up from the ground and attack the village. We didn't want to specify too much, because we wanted to find out their own creativity. We wanted to involve the people in the region in contributing to the film whatever they had to contribute, and then dealing with it as chance. And then the filming itself was then a record of this region's creativity, combined with our own creativity and combined with solutions of problems. Every time we work, whether it's in theater or in film, the aesthetics comes out of the solution of practical problems. not so much from our heads. And so for that, we always need to find a way that we set up the situation that is impossible to realize rather than something that's possible. So we could, it's better to write a screenplay for a $20 million film and then shoot it for $20 than to do it the opposite, the other way around.
Right. The impossibility gives you also a lot of freedom, I think.
Yeah.
Great. Well, this brings me to my next question. After the release, you received incredibly positive critics' reactions and won the Filmfest Award of the Berlinale in 2019. Congratulations for that, by the way. And have you ever thought that your movie would get that much recognition and positive reactions, considering, your approach?
Not really, because we know how the film world, but not only film world, but theater world and literary world and the visual arts world, how it works. It's very conservative, and it's not something that and our film heroes have never been successful and famous. When we go see our favorite films, there's never a line around the block of people waiting to get in. There's usually 4 other people plus us waiting to watch this 7-hour-long film. So it's not, it's not something that we need to feel fulfilled or satisfied. But of course, it was we appreciated it, but we knew that it was just extra. We don't work for that. We don't work for the success. We work to make the best work that we can possibly make, given the conditions, and it is the kind of film that we would have made even if we had $20 million. It's not, for us, it wasn't like a stepping stone. It's like, oh, hopefully we get some awards and somebody notices us and then asks and gives us $20 million and we can make the film that we really want to make. This was exactly the kind of film that we wanted to make, and we always make sure that we always make the kind of film that we want to make. And if it's successful or not, publicly we can't really control. But were we not happy? Of course we were overjoyed, and also for the people that were in the film, that for them we were really, really happy, especially because it just kind of validated all the effort that they put into it, which was extraordinary and unpaid and generous, and over several years we kept going to the region and really were given gifts. The film, their work was a gift to us, and so then when the awards were kind of our gift to them rather than to us.
Oh yeah, that absolutely makes you very sympathetic. This brings me to my big question, actually. I think this fits in right here. How do you see the power of film and cinema from nowadays perspective? And do you see a possibility of creating and co-designing new ways of today's society?
Of course, I mean that's what we're really interested in is really looking at what the world needs, and it needs, especially now, it needs more adventurous art, where the societies all over the world, in America, I'm sure it's coming to Germany, in Austria, where the politicians are less and less interested in culture and the soul and the mind, but only interested in power. We have to somehow find new ways of functioning and making new ways of making art that is not waiting for permission from the power structures, but that we make because we absolutely need to make it, and it's not for for a reward, but for somehow enriching the humanity, you know, just in a way to save what's unique about human beings and different from robots or you know, that is, or inanimate objects.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that sticks with me about, you know, like sometimes you wonder why people join on to a project like this, especially, you know, people who may have no experience acting or making any kind of creative project like this. And a lot of the people that joined us had ambitions to make something of their own and wanted to see how you go about making such a thing, because all of these tools now are you know, getting to the point where they're relatively affordable, where there are major movies made on cell phones, where you can, I mean, all of the editing software that I used for this was available online for free, you know, so it's really like we're at another point where it's almost a populist art form, or could be, and that's exciting to me too, about the time that we're in.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I once read a phrase which said that for the real change in the cinema and the film, we have to embrace the avant-garde and the experimental, and that still sticks with me, and I saw that in your work too, so I wanted to ask you that question. This brings me also to my last question, because time's getting short. And yeah, I wanted to ask you how you spend those unusual and horrifying times right now, and if you were able to find ways of processing them, maybe even in terms of creative outcome, as you already maybe indicated in our email traffic.
Yeah, I mean, we were always working on something impossible, and I guess the most impossible thing right now for any of us to imagine is a live theater performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, in these times, to ask a bunch of people to sit next to each other and to have actors sweating and breathing and speaking all over each other feels dangerous and wrong, and that's what we're doing.
We just finished yesterday. We've just finished the last rehearsal of five weeks of rehearsal for an opera that we're supposed to perform. The premiere is supposed to be in Frankfurt in January 21st.
Yeah.
I think at the Musanturm.
I think it's 28th.
28th, maybe January 28th. So we had an actor coming from Brussels. We had an actor coming from Hungary, and we had 3 actors that were from New York. And we have been working for 5 weeks with them now.
In our apartment, because there's
they just left
no
home. Yeah. I mean, we're rehearsing in our apartment, and then January 1st we're supposed to go to Frankfurt to finish the project. And but right now everything is closed down, so on lockdown here too. So we don't know if we'll be able to be allowed out of this country and into Germany, and so we're just trying to stay positive and hope that we can do that. And if we can't, then we'll, you know, our motto is we keep going until we can't, you know, and then we'll find a way to complete the project no matter what, you know, because it's something that we feel needs to be done, and without it, the other side will win. So
I think we as a film festival absolutely understand your struggle, but maybe we'll meet each other when we have our rescheduling ready. So maybe in May.
No, you guys keep fighting too.
Yeah, right. But well, now we are going online at first, so we're also really looking forward to that. So,
Good.
and thanks to you, we still have talks with filmmakers and theater and avant-garde artists, however
Happy to do it.
you name yourself. So, well, thank you so much for your time. It was amazing to talk with you and really interesting for me because I'm really a big fan of your movie and also your work and your approach. Well, I wish you all the best for your upcoming projects, really. I hope this will work out.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And well, and goodbye, I guess. Or do you have anything else to say you want to say right now?
We could talk forever. You know?
Human contact.
Of course, yeah, we would love to. Well, you don't have to, then I guess I'll say goodbye. And
Okay.
I hope you'll have a great day and a great weekend.
You too.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.